what's up, good people of Gotham? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome back to the Friday Night Prepper Pre-Party Show. And man, we got a fun one for y'all tonight. I'm so excited about tonight's topic that I just had to reach out to Mike from Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival because I knew.
How's it going, everybody?
I knew if there's anybody I wanted to co-pilot this one with me, it was going to be him. How you doing tonight?
Very good, man. Very good. Thanks for having me, Sarge. Appreciate you having me here tonight.
I'm excited about this one, and I'm going to tell you guys, This is a first for Sarge. You guys know I'm not a big drinker. Once in a while, a little bit socially, but because of this special event tonight, Sarge is going to break his rule. And tonight we're going to be drinking live stream, so YouTube's already probably going to demonetize us.
Well, I'm here. Forget about it.
So I've got Twisted Tea. What you
right on. I went super hard tonight with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. No, nothing in here. Just straight Dr. Pepper. All right. My kids were always like super duper athletic, always playing basketball, riding bikes, jumping bicycles. And I was always so afraid that, I'd come home, have a couple beers, and one of them was going to crash and break a freaking leg, and I'm going to have to drive him to the hospital, and I won't be able to do it, and then we're all going to get in trouble. And so I just, I never really drank when I got home. You know what I mean? It was one of those things for me, so.
That's responsible. Appreciate that. And for everybody out there, when you're drinking, please be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Nobody likes that. In Orlando,
Amen.
It is not bourbon. I understand that. I do have bourbon in the house, but I am the reason that I usually don't drink on streams is because my little niece watches this, and probably a couple of my coworkers watch this. So I'm usually clean and sober, but tonight we'll have a couple. And I want to give a little shout out here too to my friend Heather from PNW Bushcraft.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man!
Who made that koozie? Isn't that
That's
cool?
beautiful. Yeah, my wife would absolutely love one of those.
Yep, she makes good stuff.
Fantastic.
All right, so we are going to be talking about drones and all the possible theories on this, and what are we going to do about it? But a couple quick things, couple quick announcements. First of all, I got scrolling on the bottom there, and also in the description if you're watching this on replay, we got the link from Mike's channel, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. I highly recommend that you guys check this out. These got him and
Mr. Livingston Man.
Livingston, sure. Livingston Man have one of the funniest live streams you guys will ever watch. You're really gonna.
We try. We try to educate a little bit too. It can't all be fun. We got to throw in some Easter eggs in there. And if the Livingston Man's so quick witted, if you're not paying attention, he's going to slip them right past you. So don't be afraid to watch it twice.
Yeah, good stuff. And always in the description, I've got some discounts for products that I think you'll like. These are usually affiliate codes. They help me out, help support the channel. And I will tell you that every single product in there has been personally vetted by me. It's stuff that I'm either using myself or I have tested and I trust my life with it. I get a lot of offers and I've tested a few things where I'm like, nope, I'm not recommending that for my audience. So if you're clicking on something down there, I guarantee you're going to be satisfied with it. If you enjoy the stream at any point, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Helps.
Smash that button.
Subscribe if you're new. Share it with your friends. I have a feeling that YouTube's going to bury this one, so if you can share it out, it definitely helps us out. And be civil with each other. We can disagree. We can have different theories. Just be kind to each other. There's no reason to say, well, you're an idiot because you think aliens are landing on the planet or whatever. We're going to keep an open mind about all this. I don't think many people really do know. I have a theory, and we'll talk about that, and maybe Mike's got a theory. But I can't say I have definitively no. Yeah.
No way. No way.
What else? And there's a poll at the top. Make sure you check out the poll at the top and vote. We will swing back to that near the end. The poll question is, should the U.S. government, I'm speaking about the government here, we're going to clarify this. Should the U.S. government be trying to shoot these things down so we can figure out what the heck they are? Please go vote in that poll. All right. Any announcements on your side before we dig into this?
No, sir. Just Merry Christmas to everybody out there. If I don't see you before the holidays, Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year's. Happy Hanukkah. Happy whatever it is you're celebrating this celebratory time of the year. Peace and tidings and all that good stuff to everyone, man.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good holiday season and hope everybody's getting time with their family. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have a good family, if your family's been bad to you or they're toxic, remember your friends can be your family too.
Amen. Amen. I have a lot of non-blood relatives, I call them. Non-blood relatives. So.
Amen to that. And thank you, everybody who popped in here. I saw several names already. I saw Scott Hummer, Jason Beecher. Thank you so much. Wanda, thank you. Appreciate everybody. Orlando Prepper, thank you for helping to moderate. Lazarus. And did I miss anybody? Virginia Bushcrafter, thank you so much. Good to see you again. Yardbirds. And anybody else? All right. And if you guys have questions or comments or anything, if it's especially a question or like something you want to spring up for discussion, throw it in caps and I'll try not to miss it. Okay. So for those who may have been sleeping under a rock and don't know what we're talking about, let's give a quick summary here. So specifically, we're talking about the drones that are in New Jersey because there's incidents going on all over the place right now. Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Everywhere.
And I can only, maybe you can comment a little bit about some of the other ones, but I've been following the New Jersey one very, very closely. Every time I see a story popping on it on YouTube, on the news, whatever, I'm trying to pay attention, trying to find
Same here.
Any update I can get, especially knowing we were going to come live tonight. And right before I went live, that was the last thing I was doing is checking for any more updates. I got a couple little things, not too much.
Right.
But these go ahead.
I was going to say these things have been popping up all over the place as of lately. Since I think just before Thanksgiving, this started to happen in New Jersey specifically. But they have been popping up not over military bases, but alongside of them, quite frequently as of late. So I don't really know what's going out. Oh my goodness, Southern Tier Prepper. Goodness gracious. There's a little preparedness beef going on, and it's absolutely comical. And I want to say that Mad Shad is a class act and handled himself very well. So
okay, I don't know anything about that.
No. I'll fill you all in after the stream, my friend.
Okay.
It's wild, but
yeah. All right. Well, and stuff happens in this world. Not everybody's going to agree with each other, and
yeah.
I've accidentally done stuff where I streamed over a friend, and I try not to, but it's hard, like there's a couple hundred of us that we all are trying to do this thing. So inevitably you're going to sometimes stream at the same time.
Well, the best thing is that
that's cool.
This is all on the internet, and we can always come back and watch it later. You know what I mean? You don't have to watch it specifically live. And I feel that especially the live streams are great to catch up with in the car, things like that, especially if podcast style like we do here. There's not a lot of visual, so there's plenty of audio for people to take in, and if you're driving in the car, this is a great place to catch up with these streams.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I can't catch everybody's stream. I do my best, and
Same.
a lot of times I'm doing the replay squad,
Same here.
So these drones, since before Thanksgiving, right? This has been 3 weeks. These things have been, and what's weird for those people who don't know what we're talking about yet, they're like car-sized drones. Like these things are big. And
absolutely.
They're circling over these residential neighborhoods mostly, and it's been going on every night for 3 weeks. And I think my wife told me before I went live, she's like, nobody saw them on Thanksgiving night, which I think potentially could be a clue. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting.
What's your theory? What are these things? People are getting pissed off.
My theory is this is some newer technology that is either owned by the U.S. government or its subsidiaries, i.e., Boeing, Raytheon, one of these companies, or as of late, some smaller companies that are up and coming that make some really cool stuff that they might want to test out. And you guys see the state of the world today, so it could just be a rapid testing, and they're doing it live right over neighborhoods. They don't have time. We got to get this figured out, and maybe they want our adversaries to see these things and go, "Holy shit!" Maybe that's the play. But again, I don't really know. That's just speculation, because otherwise, if you were the United States federal government and there was car-sized drones hovering over New Jersey, there would be F-35s floating in the air waiting for these mofos to show up, and they would just take one with them.
Yeah, they're remarkably calm, aren't they? The Pentagon people.
Yes.
They don't seem worried about this at all.
No, not at all. Not frazzled even a little bit, which is odd. You know, they seemed more frazzled over the Chinese balloon than they are over these, well, what appears to be at least a dozen of these things, right? I mean, at least a dozen of them flying all at the same time in fairly close proximity to the ground and to each other. So who knows, man? I'm voting. I talked with Mr. Angry Prepper, and I think we're going to go on a field trip and bring the good camera equipment and go confront one of these things face to face and see if it's real, man.
Now you have a DJI drone, don't you?
Yeah, totally, okay. Totally. Like I am fully on getting my Tom Cruise on, bro, and hunting one of these things down. I'll put it in sport mode and try and run it down, and we'll see if it's real. We'll do it live, or he'll drive and I'll look, or I'll look and he'll drive, and we'll figure it out. We're gonna find one.
Yeah. So my theory is very similar to yours. I do think it's a U.S. company that's made these. Okay. And I'll give you my reasons why I'm narrowing that down to that. Number one, the lights that people are seeing are basically it's drone navigational anti-collision lights, and they're to spec.
Absolutely.
They're, at least from what I've seen, the ones I've seen are to spec. So this is in compliance with the law. Okay. The lights are anyways. That to me says either it was made in the USA or was made for the USA, one or the other.
Okay.
The fact that they didn't appear on Thanksgiving night speaks to the fact that this was a company that was probably closed Thanksgiving night, right? Now somebody could say, well, if this is a prankster or a lone wolf or whatever, they were at their family's dinner. Okay, that's also plausible. Okay. If they don't show up for Christmas, I think that's going to be interesting, right? Like if they're every night and then all of a sudden nobody sees them on Christmas. The fact that the U.S. government, the Pentagon, you know, now the local people and the legislators, they're freaking out, and I would be too if I lived there. And but the Pentagon is just like nonchalant about it, like, hey, it's not a threat. You know, why are you guys freaking out? We don't see a problem, right? Like, okay, well that tells me something. You know, that tells me that you probably know what this is. And B, it's probably ours. That's my guess. Okay. And I'm willing to entertain other people's theories on this, but that's my guess. Now, where I take it a little bit further and I start to get into a little bit of conspiracy here is what I think it is I think it's a red cell penetration test. Do you know what that is?
No, but I'm all for it.
Okay. So a red cell is they're authorized by the U.S. government to do, and people can look this up if they're like, Sarge doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, go fact check me. They're authorized by the U.S. government to basically look for vulnerabilities. Okay. So, and a lot of times these are really elite operators, you know, like Navy SEALs and that kind of stuff. And there's a history of this that's been declassified, so people can go fact check it and you can go see some examples of what's been done. And it's crazy stuff. Like people have said to me on my 2 videos this week, well, there's no way the U.S. government would endanger its citizens by doing this test over a residential neighborhood. Okay, go read the declassified stuff.
Yeah, they will do anything to anybody, anywhere. They do not care. They do not care. They will aerosol you in a public subway system. They will spray it from the tops of roofs. They do not care. They will test chemical agents on you at will, and you will never know about it. Yep.
And if there is some kind of disaster, they're just going to deny they're involved with it. You know, they'll just say, "Oh, that wasn't us. That was another country, or it was a rogue element, or whatever." So, absolutely, there's nothing that says in the playbook that the United States government wouldn't do something that endangers its citizens.
Correct.
And if you believe that, I wish that I had that kind of comfort in my life to think like
that. Yeah, no, they've done some dastardly things to people in the name of science, and absolutely, they will not hesitate to do it again. I guarantee that.
Yep. Yeah, go look up the MK Ultra experiments and
so one of the guys who championed psychedelics was actually a local to around where I live, Timothy Leary. He was a big one who worked with the CIA and the testing and all of the folks. He's got a mansion, and you know there's drums of acid at the bottom of the lake and everything. So The rumor mill runs wild, but yeah,
Yeah.
we've got that locally here too. So it's got some roots in this area. The psychiatric centers and things that they recently closed here. All kinds of crazy stuff went on there.
Now, if there was drums of acid in the lake and they started leaking,
Oh man, that'd be some trippy waters, my friend. Trippy waters.
it would not be good. Vanessa Kitty, I think we're going to be getting to that in just a second here. Because that's what a lot of people are starting to say, right? So here's the thing: if let's say that Mike or I that our theory is close to what's the truth, and they're just continue to do, these are fine, there's no problem, there's no threat, whatever. At some point, citizens will take it into their own hands, and
Yeah.
I am not authorizing that. I'm not advocating for that, even though I know that that's probably the fastest way we would get an answer here. And it probably will happen. Like, I'm not telling anyone in my audience to go out there and take one of these things down. But I have high confidence that that's when this finally stops, is when somebody manages to do that. And what I've heard, and again, at this point, it's getting hard to distinguish what's truth and what's like, oh, I heard this.
Oh, propaganda. Yeah. There's so much right now.
Yeah, but what I heard before I went live was that supposedly the local police departments tried to get their drones close to these things, and they can't keep up with them. They're like really high tech, really fast.
Yeah. So I wonder, I really do wonder if, did you see John Kirby's interview today? He gave an interview, I think it was this morning or last night, and he said, these are legally piloted aircraft.
Yeah.
Where he said that. And I did some research today, and there are quadcopters that are personal aircraft that you can get in and fly like a go-kart in the sky.
Okay.
Personal aircraft. And it's the kind of thing that when you see it and a small company makes it, you're like, oh, they're getting scapped up by the government. You know it. So this could totally be one of those cases where you built something so cool that, hey, guy, we got to have that. How many of these things do you have? And now they're putting pilots or operators in these things and letting them take them for a test drive to see what they really think. And maybe they are faster and smaller and lighter than anything on the face of the earth. And they're like, hey, if we're going to take these things and bring them to bear, at least people give them a glimpse like we did with the UFOs,
Yeah.
But there have been some other drone sightings as well of different shapes. The triangle-shaped lights is another thing that people have been seeing in the sky. And I think these are two totally separate incidents with totally separate crafts as well, because we have some miniature drones that look like stealth bombers. And they kind of look like the bat signal, like flying through the sky, but those are totally autonomous and much smaller and different craft altogether. But we've been flying those things at night that I've seen people getting video of coming back with as well. So whatever is going on, we have a whole lot of aircraft in the air over the United States at all times, and most of them are dark on the radar. So
yeah, and I've spoken to military people. I have a couple of friends in intelligence, and I try not to, if like something like this is going on, I try not to bother them, because I figure they're being monitored. If they know something, they can't tell me. And even if they did, I wouldn't be able to share that here anyways, because I put them in trouble, right? But what I can say is there's definitely a lot of stuff that the civilians have not seen yet, right? Like there's stuff that's developed and it's ready to go if we get into a war with China. Or Russia, that is way advanced than anything else that's out there right now. I can say that with certainty. Beyond that, like people aren't going to tell me too much. I know a couple little things, but not anything I could share anyways, So there is a lot of stuff up there. There's a lot of stuff being tested. I've seen weird stuff, I don't know what it is. And when I've seen it, it's either like super late at night or super early in the morning. Like I used to do third shift, where part of my job was I was getting called out for psychiatric emergencies to go assess somebody. So I was out there in Kentucky, very rural, beautiful sky, right? Very little city lights. And at times when there was like no other cars on the road, yeah, I saw some weird stuff, space aliens, I don't know, but
Yeah.
weird stuff. I'll say that,
Mm-hmm.
Things with really weird signatures, like whether you want to call it a contrail or a chemtrail. I've seen like stuff that you don't normally see during the daytime,
Right.
early morning when
Yeah.
there's just a little bit of light. It's like, man, what the heck was that? Like a circle, like concentric, like a chain of O's.
No
Okay.
kidding.
Like, yeah, imagine if you had Oreos standing on end, okay,
Yeah.
and like thousands of them across the sky.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's wild.
they were coming from an aircraft. Now, I don't think that's space aliens, right? Like that's human made to me.
Yeah.
But
Totally something. I know we've been experimenting with drones and drone swarms here in America for a very long time. The Chinese were some of the innovators in it, and we quickly took to it. I know we've successfully launched drone swarms from FA-18 Super Hornets. So they can literally just open up their bomb bay doors and shoot out a bunch of drones that take off and go on their own missions. Or sometimes they're piloted by the FA-18 itself. They can control them or just let them go autonomously to do their own things. And I think this is the future. This is the future. You look at the battlefield in Europe right now, and this is what it is. It's drones, whether they're winged or quadcoptered. They're doing the bulk load of the work over there, whether it be surveillance, targeting, straight up assassination attempts with these things. They're getting pretty brazen with them, and they're inventing new ways to use them on the battlefield every single day.
Yeah, it is the new fifth generation warfare. This is fortunately where everything's going, and we do need to, in defense of the government. I hate to say it that way, but we do need to be ahead of the curve on it.
Yeah. And like you said, they have things so far in advance of what the civilians will ever see. Who knows? Who knows what they are? They're probably ours, would be my guess.
Yeah. I would say most stuff in the sky that people were like, oh, that was a UFO. It probably wasn't. It probably was something of ours that was man-made. Is there a small percentage that they don't know what it is? Yeah, I do believe that, and that's pretty much been acknowledged by the government at this point. Like, we don't know what this is.
Yeah, those literal orbs that they've tracked on radars and things like that. Man, those are the ones that make the weird hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
Yeah,
when I was leaving this evening, I actually saw something funky in the sky tonight. But I think it's the Gemini meteor showers right now. So more confusion and craziness along with all the other stuff. Let's throw in a meteor shower right in the mix to the drones everywhere. It's going to be great.
Have you seen these? Burpee Yoga Uncle was talking about the 3 videos that were released to the public that they used. So I think it was Go Fast. Was one of them. It was called Go Fast. I don't remember what the other 2 names were.
Yeah, one of them disappeared into the sea, right? They were tracking it. The guy locked onto it with his radar, and he watched it just disappear into the ocean. Then it popped up like 65 miles later, a split second after that. The stuff that they are doing is beyond our known capabilities, for sure.
For sure.
So I don't know what exactly they are, but for them to just nonstop, no slowing down, just from the crazy speeds that they were at, just submerge into the water with no splash or no nothing. It's almost as if the water wasn't actually there. And these things are more interdimensional and like tearing a hole through reality, and people can actually see them on this side.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, man. It's weird.
It's interesting because one of the theories on that, right? So if we're talking about like interdimensional UFOs and interdimensional beings and things like that, one of the theories that's out there is that this stuff really kicked up after we started splitting the atom. When we started doing
nuclear tests. Yeah.
And did we tear that hole? Did we
totally could be.
Yeah. Totally
could be, because like you said, they're often seen around nuclear facilities, missile silos, nuclear power plants, and things like that. They occasionally follow our nuclear powered submarines and aircraft carriers around. Anything nuclear powered brings in these weird orbs and lights and things like that. So totally could be a connection, Sarge. You might be onto something.
It's interesting. I always tell people that I'm a skeptic who would like to believe in something other than humans, as whether it be space aliens or interdimensional or whatever. I want to believe, but I also want more proof than a fuzzy video. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think Burpee Yoga said it correct. Burpee Yoga Uncle says, I don't think we have materials that can drop into the ocean like that and come back up without being damaged. That's what boggled my mind, especially at that speed. There's nothing that we make today that can survive that kind of impact with the water. Correct. Nothing. I mean, it has to be able to literally pass through solid surfaces, And I know they're doing a lot of experiments with frequencies and magnetism and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, the Hadron Collider. I mean,
oh yeah, man.
You start reading about like what they're trying to do there, and it's a little bit mind-boggling. Like,
yeah, they're trying to tear a hole between this dimension and the next one. It's like, oh, okay, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go for it.
Yeah, that's why when people say like, "Oh, do you think that they'll ever clone humans?" Or do you, yeah, of course they will, because we split the atom. We're trying to create a little mini black hole in the Hadron Collider. Should we ever stop humans?
So she needs a little love. She needs a little love. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm busy. Okay, come on. Not in the microphone.
That's
okay, you can get down now. Thank you, sweetie.
Getting some good loving.
She's the best.
What do you think about the idea that was floated out there that these are Iranian drones coming off some kind of mothership?
Man, that sounds like some U.S. propaganda if I ever heard it in my life.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because the Pentagon comes out and they're like, I don't know what that guy's talking about. He's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
So if it was, let's just play that game for a minute, right? Let's say that it was, say, Iran or China messing around in our airspace, and then the government was just like shrugging. That's a scary thought.
Very scary. Very scary.
Do they care about the citizens? Well, that would be proof.
Yeah.
They don't.
I think I would call that a hard no.
Yeah. So I'm going to say no on that theory, although I did think about it for a while. Like, yeah. So here's how I thought about it. We know that a lot of people got into this country in the last 4 years, right? And
absolutely.
There's a high possibility that some of those are not friendly to the United States, right? So we would call those sleeper cells. They're out there somewhere in the United States, and they're not friendly, and they're sleeper cells. So they're waiting for a signal to do whatever it is that they were going to do, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a high possibility that that's here right now, and I hope that they track that down if that's the case, and that they round them up. But
same here.
So let's say that there was 100 such agents out here. Personally, I think it's probably a lot more than that, but let's say there's 100. So if you wanted to do something like this, let's say you've got a new type of drone that can steal data by just flying over people's houses. Okay? Can steal passwords, everything. Phone records, everything, and they're doing it for whatever reason, just to test it. Maybe they're just testing it right now.
Yeah.
How would you get these car-sized drones into the country? What kind of thoughts would you have there?
Oh man, I just buy them. I'd send people here, and then purchase them and have them shipped in, and just pick them up at the port like everybody else does. Pay no mind to it.
And if you wanted to get even more stealthy about it because it was some new tech or whatever.
Oh, you have the smugglers bring them in from the southern border or the northern border, wherever you can get them from.
Or piece by piece.
Exactly.
And then
a couple pieces from here, a couple pieces from there. And next thing you know, you've got, a couple hundred of these things, and you can do what you want.
Yep. And it would be that easy, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
if you couldn't just go and pick them up off a shelf here,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you had somebody that knew how to build these things, right?
Oh, they're not that complicated. There's a lot of people who home build them.
And if they knew what they were looking for and stuff like that, you wouldn't even have to get them into the country.
They're already here.
They're here. Yeah. And so they could, if they knew the specs of like how to build it big enough and to the specs of, whatever country is wanting that. It's possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, so the drones are so advanced now, and the programming is so open source that you can totally. I mean, even my DJI Mini 3 Pro, I can fly autonomously through third-party software. Just program its route and hit go and watch the thing take off and fly where I asked it to. And, if you get a touch screen, I can just draw it on there with my finger, and it'll fly that grid pattern and come back to me when it's done.
Well, let's get into that then. So you know a little bit about drones, right?
Yes, sir.
And you're in New York or New Jersey?
New York.
New York. Okay, so if the laws could be different, but hypothetically speaking, if you lived in a suburb close to where you're at, can you just go ahead and launch your drone at nighttime and launch it over suburban areas?
Sure.
You can. You don't have to register a flight plan or anything like that?
As long as it weighs under 249 grams. You just have to stay under a certain altitude, and you're basically good to go. You're a hobbyist. I'm not doing it for sale. It's not a job for me. It's just, go fly my drone for fun because I like the video. And you can set limits on it that will keep you below restricted airspace. And again, it has to be so lightweight that if it did fall from the sky, it wouldn't really hurt anybody. Right. So they set that limit at 249 grams. So anything heavier than that, you have to have a license to pilot. Okay. And there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes along with it. But the mini ones they're incredible. They're incredible. They're so small. They're so easy to use. Yeah, hang on a second. I'll grab one. It's right here.
Okay. So folks, if you're enjoying this so far, don't forget, give us a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Share this out with your friends because it's probably going to get buried in the algorithm. And don't forget, make sure you're subscribing to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival as well. Now, I did see somebody up there posted earlier that supposedly there's one that crashed and they're trying to retrieve it. Was that Southern Tier Prep, or was that you that posted that? Yeah, here it is. So that's going to be interesting to see if that's one of those drones. STP had posted something about that.
Ooh.
One may have crashed.
Fantastic. Yeah. I hope it didn't hurt anybody, but fantastic.
Right. Yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt, but we want to know what the heck these things are.
So just a small bag, nothing huge, right? And this actually has two different drones in it. This one I call Little Girl. This is a DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's not much bigger than the palm of my hand, the actual drone itself. Mm-hmm. Fold your little wings out. And now I can fly, about 6 miles away from my home base and get crystal clear 4K video with this little guy.
And you've got nav lights on the bottom of that?
Yep, it's got them on each prop. It's FAA compliant, ready to rock and roll. But they do say if you fly at night, you do want to put a strobe on it. So to legalize this, they make little stick-on ones that I put on the belly or on the top, and put a strobe on it if I fly at night. I don't fly at night. Okay. I've only flown during the day.
So for the audience, what do the nav lights are? What, red, green, and white?
Correct. And I just have them right now. They flash red and green.
Okay, so that's what we're seeing, at least over New Jersey. Now, again, there's
absolutely
there's other incidents across the world. Some of this stuff does look different, and the stuff that I saw. Go ahead, yeah.
They get this small.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, this little guy fit in the palm of your hand. And this one's autonomous. This one just follows you around, facial recognition technology. So it just hovers and shoots video. Extremely loud.
That's
cool.
But
they're handy, man. I love them for their capabilities. I love them for what they can do. You could recharge these things with a solar bank, no problem, and scout way out ahead. If you think danger's coming, you can send this up, and in some cases, maybe lure people away with it because they're going to want to follow that and figure out where it came from. And I'm going to get so far away so fast, they're not going to follow me.
Yeah, that's smart. I like that. So Yardbirds, and I was going to get to this, they work off of a radio transmission, right?
Yeah, they work off of radio frequencies, and the controllers they get fancy, but you can get pretty simple ones. You can fly that basically with your cell phone. The small one I can fly with my cell phone.
Okay, so
solely.
So these New Jersey ones, again, now this is, I want to be clear for folks. This is what I'm about to say here is hearsay. I can't say that I recall a specific, like, trustable, verifiable source said this. So it starts to get clouded because I've seen like probably 100 different videos this week on this stuff.
Yeah.
But one did talk about that allegedly the attempts to knock these things down, or they're not picking up a radio signal that would that would be standard for these drones. Okay, so again, not saying that's coming from a verifiable source because I can't remember where I heard it. How would that work in your mind if that's true? If these are not
these guys, your typical drones work like 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, just like your Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So if they could find them, no problem, and shut them down if that were the case, and it would literally just slowly bring these things straight down to the ground.
Okay.
That's how drones are designed to land when they're brought down. They're not designed to just cut and fall. It's safe landing to the ground, so they can recover the thing intact. Because intact, it's going to give them a whole lot more information than if this thing is destroyed. This has all kinds of numbers that tie it right back to the purchaser. And things like that. But home builds, on the other hand, that's where you get a little gray area.
Yeah, it could be like a ghost gun, basically.
Exactly. Okay. It's the ghost drone, Sarge.
I think there's a song in there for you guys.
That's it. We got to get the Livingston Man on that one.
If there was something like this, let's just kind of play around with it for a minute. If there was a drone out there that did not operate on those frequencies or radio frequency at all, what other options might there be for these things?
They're piloted. There's people sitting in those. That's why when people say something like, we're going to take these things down, we're going to take it out of the sky. I got my anti-drone loads, Mike. I'm going to bag me a drone. That's a really bad idea. There could be somebody in that thing. Because those things do exist. I swear to you, they do. It's not fantasy. You can buy your own personal drone and fly it around the skies in your neighborhood. If you have that kind of wallet, these things really do exist, and you can buy them. And I don't know where their home base is, but if I had to venture to guess, I'm going to say it's somewhere in northern New Jersey.
Yeah. I know it looks like a personal helicopter, basically.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. If I had to... it's a flying go-kart, man. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. So what if I'm going to throw out another theory for you then, right?
Let's do it.
When I lived up in Massachusetts and I was going to college, we had our fraternity. So I'm a Theta Chi for if anybody out there is watching this is a Theta Chi. We had a chapter at MIT. And so I didn't graduate from MIT. I'm not that smart, but we used to go and hang with those guys. And I've talked about this before. When you're hanging around and talking to somebody who's got an IQ of like 140 or higher, like you can tell like they're on a different wavelength.
Oh yeah.
And these dudes, like, they would ask me like, what's your goal? Right. So I was a therapist. And so I'd say, well, I think I might want to open up my own practice and work with this type of population. They're like, oh, that's cool. I want to get a Nobel Prize for physics for, proving that quantum entanglement is real, and it's like, whoa, okay. All right. You got another beer?
They aspire just a bit higher, those guys.
They're different. They're different people. And they would do pranks. So I'm going somewhere with this. So they would do pranks. Like one year they took apart a campus police car and put it back together again on the roof of one of the buildings.
Awesome.
They were just bananas, right? Like for a while they couldn't have ATMs on the MIT campus because the kids all figured out how to hack the ATMs. Now the newer ones you can't do that. But so like it's in my mind, this is another possibility is that there's some like pranksters out there who are pretty technically savvy.
Yeah.
Now it's a dangerous game now because people are getting pissed off, right? If that's the case. But I can't say that definitively that's not the case, especially with what you're saying there with the like these little personal helicopters, right?
Yeah.
You get a couple, like 20 of these fraternity knuckleheads.
I tell you what, Sarge, if I won the Mega Millions, we would be flying around in them, you and me right now, and everybody would be making YouTube videos about us, and we would be sitting at home laughing our asses off about it.
Could I wear my body armor at least?
I hope you would, man. I hope you would, because now we're in the like skeet shooting for these things. So
yeah, and so I think unfortunately that is where this is going to go, and that's why if anybody is out there that knows what this is, whether it be the Pentagon or
yeah, it's time to speak up, man.
It's time to speak up because citizens are going to take this into their own hand, and it's not going to be good.
Absolutely. Can you hang on 1 second, Sergeant? I got to get my doggy quick. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let me check here, see if we got any questions here, folks. I shot down Marty the Martian. Yeah, so let's just throw that out there too. I don't think these are aliens. I really don't. I'm not saying that aliens don't exist. I don't know. I think that would be really cool if they did. And actually, out of all the possibilities, that would be the one that I think would be the most exciting, is if it was aliens. But if you're a citizen out there and you're thinking about taking matters into your own hands, please don't start an intergalactic war.
Please, we're not ready for that. I still got my World War III decorations up right now. I'm not ready for alien space battles just yet.
We're not going to do well with that.
No.
It's like that movie Mars Attacks, when they, the Martians land and they say, "We come in peace," and then the girl releases the doves.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the Martians are afraid of doves, and so it starts this intergalactic war.
Yeah, just be real cool, okay? Everybody be real cool.
Move slow.
That's right. Slow and steady. Speak loud and clear.
There are a few different levels of smart. When you absolutely burpee yoga, uncle, and I want to clarify that I'm not saying education is indicative of intelligence. In fact, it's not necessarily true. I can confirm that.
Yep.
I know. So my mechanic can fix my car. I can't do that. There's different types of intelligence. And just because somebody went to MIT doesn't mean that they're smarter than anybody else. It means they're very academically smart.
Absolutely.
My dad worked at Dreamland Mercury, the test site back in the time. Dreamland Mercury. You know what that is, Mike?
I do not.
Okay. Yardbirds, tell us a little bit more about that, if you don't mind.
There are fools and educated fools. I agree.
Absolutely. Yep. What other theories did we have here? So we talked about that, could be one of our people. We talked about could be aliens. We talked about could be a foreign nation. Talked about could be a prank. Any other thoughts? Any other theories of what this could be?
I don't know, man. I think we've run the gambit of theories. Foreign adversary is up there on the list. Our government is up there on the list. The foreign adversaries, though, I got to tell you, I don't think it'd be allowed. I don't think it'd be allowed at all. I think you would quietly see them all disappear, or very loudly.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we shot a Chinese balloon out of the sky after a couple people saw it, and now we've got thousands and thousands of people seeing these things, which I think now is being blown way out of proportion. Every plane in the sky is a freaking drone, and they're all staring in your window now because, I saw it out the window. It was looking right at me. Who knows? And again, I think if it is our government, I think it's something that they want the world to know that we have.
Yeah. So let me come back to you, Yardbirds, in just a second. It's getting wild. I saw one of the videos I saw today it was titled "Now the drones are firing on people." Right. So this
yeah.
You saw that one?
No. But I've seen the crazy title. They're spraying aerosols on us now, and it's clearly a plane with a contrail. It's like, come on, guys.
They took our germs.
It's getting. Folks are stretching, and I think mixed in with all of the actual credible reports is a whole bunch of people who are just starved for attention and are like, I could get clicks like that too, man, and watch this, and they post some bullshit, and because they got 10,000 followers, everybody reposts it. Now there's 10,000 reposts of this freaking jerk's shit, and it sucks, and nobody should have seen it in the first place.
Yeah, so this video, I clicked on it like a fool, and it was basically what they did was they took some nighttime footage of you ever see those places like in Nevada where you can go out on a helicopter with you pay money to do this, and they've got like a minigun
Yeah.
And you can do night too, and they'll put tracer rounds in it. You pay a lot of money for this, but basically, if for those of you guys who don't know what we're talking about, you as a civilian, you can go to places like Las Vegas, Nevada, and pay money to go up in a helicopter and shoot a minigun into a junkyard full of like junk cars, and it looks awesome, right?
Totally.
They took camera footage of this, and they basically were trying to say that was the drones.
See, that's what I mean, man. Everybody there's so many people out there who just want to know the truth, and they are vastly outnumbered by the assholes who want you to click on their video because they get paid for it, right? So they're vastly outnumbered by the people who want those clicks, and we need more people just saying, this is what I see. What do you guys think? I don't know what this is. Any ideas?
Right.
Those are the videos that I'm going to click on before I get the catchy title. You know, it drives me crazy.
Yeah. Let's go. I got a couple of cool things and comments coming up here. So Yardbirds said, was it your dad was working at Area 51? Well, I'm guessing that you can't tell us anything, but if you want to share anything, we'll be happy to. But I'm guessing you can't, and maybe you weren't told anything either. If you were, then pretty cool stuff. Even if it's not like what most people think of like Roswell and stuff like that, for sure it was a secret research facility. So alone means there's.
Well, they hid the SR-71 Blackbird there for like ages, you know. And that was that. I think also the stealth bombers came out of there. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a lot of sightings of those big, V-shaped aircraft. And guess what, folks? Now you can actually see them, in a hangar at the U.S. Air Force. We've had them for a long time. They're actually so old they're outdated now and have been replaced by, other stuff that you don't know that we have.
Right.
And there's a lot of them too.
Do you remember a few years ago, going back to Iran, do you remember Iran captured one of our advanced drones?
Yeah. They took out MQ-9 Reaper and recovered it basically whole.
Yep.
They used anti-drone technology and basically landed the thing in the desert.
Yep. And they basically so Iran does have a pretty advanced program, and they reverse engineered one of ours as part of that. So so all of their newer stuff has a lot of our, like, I don't want to say targeting systems, but similar things to the stuff that we had. Now why you wouldn't have put a self-destruct into something like that makes no sense to me.
I know. I think once they locked onto it, we lost all control, including the ability to do that. They kind of just shut us out of it and maneuvered it down to the ground.
Wow.
James, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by tonight.
That's pretty impressive on Iran's part, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people discount them as like a second-class military, but they're up there, man. They produce a lot of weaponry, man.
Yeah, they've got some toys, that's for sure.
Yep.
So Lockheed, of course, Lockheed's name always comes up with this stuff too. Lockheed, for those who don't know, they make the F-22 Raptor among many other cool stuff. Or is it is it F-25? Do you know? The Raptor, basically the Raptor.
Yeah.
Now in my state, we had an incident not too long ago where one of those things was, they do take them out periodically. And I live near an Air Force base, not too far from an Air Force base, and I've seen some pretty cool stuff too. There was an incident here not too long ago where one of those, so they have AI like built into that, and they also have some stealth technology built into that, and they were playing around with it. The pilot was playing around with it and basically had it in stealth mode, which means nobody's picking this thing up. Okay. Yeah. And then while he's in stealth mode, it malfunctioned. And basically, as part of the malfunction, it booted him out. So he ejected, and this thing was flying around on its own for a while.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. And
that was the one that crashed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And thankfully it didn't crash on anybody's house or anything like that. But
yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was basically flying around for a while before it finally went down. Yeah.
Holy shit. Could you imagine that pilot?
No.
Like you're floating to the ground watching your horse run away. It's like, oh shit, there you go.
Like, that's going to be a problem.
This is not good. Not good.
Oh, I'm getting fired for that one. Which, from what I understand, if the official explanation is true, it probably wasn't his fault. It was like some kind of computer malfunction.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you would hope that you would have an override button for that somewhere, like the eject button right next to the "please don't eject me" button.
It's definitely worrisome. You know, worrisome when we start turning systems over that are like that to AI, even just a little bit. There's potential for problems. You know, I'm not even talking about like Terminator level AI. This thing was just. It was designed to basically fly itself, is my understanding. And
they so a lot of our new tech, the 35s, the 22s, all can be flown autonomously. They can take off without a pilot and perform all the things that they can do with a pilot without one, as well as remotely pilot the drone swarms that they can either launch themselves or come from someplace else. There's a whole lot they can do, but all computer based, which that's what really worries me too, is the more computer based you go, the more susceptible you are to hacking, electronic countermeasures, things like that. You know, if you bet on all the cool stuff and the cool stuff doesn't work when the time comes, you're really screwed.
Yeah. Well, and the little bit again that I know that I feel okay to share, because I think this is pretty much out there anyways, is supposedly, some of the command posts that are underground that you and I will never have access to.
Yeah.
Those are not hooked up to the grid at all. Right. Like, so there is some element of tech that's maintained by the Pentagon that
absolutely
will never be connected, or at least in our lifetime will probably.
Oh yeah. All that underground, crazy stuff, you know, they still use a floppy disk for something. I can't remember what it is, but
yeah. So when you see like Terminator 3, when they go down into the shelter, and it's like, whoa, this is like really old tech. It's like MS-DOS computers and stuff. My understanding is that that's pretty accurate what you see.
Yeah. Just to keep people's fingers out of everything.
Yep. So the alien in Nevada, do you remember the story that supposedly landed in someone's backyard?
Yeah. They talked to him. Oh, is this the one that the president signed the treaty with? Or that was at an actual Air Force base, right?
I don't know that one, but this one here, I think Burpee Yoga Uncle's talking about these people called the police and they said, there's something in our backyard. It's like an 8-foot tall.
Oh yeah, that was really recently. Like they had like footage of this thing moving around the backyard. And then there was the incident in Miami at the mall too.
Yeah, that was like the jellyfish thing.
Yeah, some weird looking stuff going on there.
So the one in Nevada, I followed this story for a little while, and from what I can tell, it seems like it's a hoax. But the police, either they agreed to the hoax or they weren't aware that they were being,
right.
Basically, I did look at really, really closely, high res, slow motion. There was footage of supposedly you could see this alien moving behind the fence. There is something moving behind the fence that's like really tall, humanoid looking, and it just looks like a big shadow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my instinct says no, that like this is just light and shadow playing a trick or whatever. It's interesting if anybody wants to go dig that stuff up and look at it. Don't expect anything clear, like, No,
it's very grainy, and the more times it gets shared, the it's like Idiocracy. The more times they make him he's spitting on bugs, Steve.
Yeah, it's but it's interesting to look at. There's some basically the way to describe this is behind the fence as they're going to look for this supposed alien. You do see some very tall humanoid looking shadow move, and for like a couple frames, and then it's gone.
Yep.
All right, let's see what else we got.
James has got it right. He says security via obscurity. That's it.
Classified info takes 50 years to disclose. Yes, generally true. There are circumstances where they will declassify stuff earlier if it's not deemed to be like a threat to anybody. Usually it's to protect somebody that's still alive is why a lot of times we don't get stuff. That's why we still can't get some of the Kennedy stuff, is because supposedly people connected to that
are still alive.
And the rumor that I read on different conspiracy theory places was that Lee Harvey Oswald, where he was staying was like a boarding house kind of thing. And the owner of the boarding house, she's still alive. She's an American citizen, but she also spoke fluent Russian. And I guess he was obsessed with speaking Russian and whatnot. And so there's been people who've speculated like, oh, was she his handler for Russia?
Right.
Or Cuba or something. I don't think there's anything that ties her to that. So don't go out there, folks, and looking for this lady. Like, it's just, I think she spoke Russian. And because there's some risk to her tied into this, that's a big reason why a lot of the stuff's not been declassified yet.
Interesting.
Yeah. And she's like in her 80s or 90s. So, I mean, eventually they'll be able to release that.
They really think people are just going to like go after this 80-year-old lady for.
Some people would, man.
It's crazy.
Look at this guy that just murked the CEO of United Health, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't know, man. It seems like we're devolving as a society a little bit more rapidly now. It may only be small pockets, but it's getting so publicized that it's only going to spawn more people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Definitely not Southern Tier Prepper. None of that. That's not allowed.
Yeah. And Skunk Works, for those who don't know, that's Lockheed's research division. Lockheed Skunk Works. MS the secrets away to China, James. Let's see. Well, this stuff happens, man. Often.
Yep. Way too often. It's the ones that they don't know about that are really going to come back to bite them. The ones they know about, they take care of those. They go in and mop that stuff up.
And I imagine that starts a lot in the same way that when they buy a corrections officer. Now, I'm not trying. I work with
same thing.
Law enforcement. So let me be clear to the audience. I fully support our law enforcement, including corrections officers. So I'm not trying to say like this is everybody. This is remote cases. But from what I understand, the way that this happens for when a corrections officer gets compromised, it works like this. So let's say I'm an inmate and Mike is the CO, and I start, good morning, Mike, right, or whatever. Right? Hey, did you have a good day? Right, little by little, I'm working up a relationship with him, and maybe he slips up and whatever, and one day and he says, hey, my kid's football game was great or something like that. Now I got a little bit of intel, right? Mm-hmm. So then it becomes, Mike, you've been so good to me. I appreciate you. I'm having such a really hard time here today. Can you sneak me in a carton of cigarettes, right? And here's what I'm going to do for you, Mike. I will pay you $5,000 in cash for that cigarettes, right? And you guys will be like, whoa, there's no way.
Yeah.
The hook's coming.
Yeah.
The hook's coming. They will get that. Mike will get that $5,000 in cash, but he's going to pay a much bigger price down the road. So Mike says, all right, man, I know you're struggling. I'll get you some cigarettes, right? Okay. To get your payment, Mike, I need your home address. That's the only way this works, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So now Mike says, man, my wife just had surgery. I really need this money.
Yeah.
I really need this money, right? So he says, okay, one time, this one time I'm going to take it because that $5,000 will really help me. But here's what happens. Now they got him, and they're going to wait outside his door. They'll have, gang members, things like that. And they're going to get pictures of his little kid. Right. And then it's, hey, I'm going to need you to bring me in. My girl on the outside is going to hand you a package, and you're going to bring that in, and you're going to get that to me. And Mike says, no, I ain't doing that for you, man.
And I hand you a picture of your kid.
This is a cute little kid, huh? Be ashamed if something happened to her, and that's how that works. That's how that works. And I believe it's probably the same way with some of these people who get compromised by foreign, they become an asset for.
Oh yeah. Put you in a compromising position and then take lots of photos and videos,
Be ashamed if something happened to your family,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way they roll. They go after what they know is going to hurt you the most.
Yep.
So,
yeah, all that stuff is kind of scary. All that stuff.
Oh man.
Oswald was the luckiest assassin. Yeah, I agree, man. I don't buy the official narrative on that one at all.
Nope. No. Have you heard the rumors about the other footage, that there's other footage, that everything that we have been shown of that assassination is nothing more than a production that was put on by the CIA because they could never show anybody the real footage of that?
I've not heard that, no.
Yeah, supposedly the real footage shows the driver of the limousine turning around and shooting him point blank, and then the footage cuts, and that was it. But supposedly that actually exists.
The thing that does it for me with the JFK assassination is not just the magic bullet theory, which it is pretty weird, but bullets do weird things when they hit the body. They
totally.
They bounce around, right? So theoretically, the magic bullet still could work. When you look up Umbrella Man, right? So for those of you who are into the JFK assassination and the theories about that, look up Umbrella Man. So there was this guy in the crowd, and he just happens to be standing at that point where the first shot hits, and he's got an umbrella on a bright sunny day, and he's pulling it up. Now, when you're a designated marksman, right, they're judging their distances a lot of times by certain things that are out there already in the field. This is 100 yards. I need to adjust my sight this much. This is 200 yards. This is 300 yards, right? So they have these markers out there. Why would this guy have an umbrella on a bright, sunny, beautiful weather day? And then nobody could find this guy for a while. And then some guy comes forward and says, "Oh, I'm Umbrella Man. I just like to carry around umbrellas. It means something to me. My dad had
right.
Yeah, you're not the real Umbrella Man. The real Umbrella Man's gone. Like he's probably buried in the desert now, you know."
Wild stuff, man. And who knows? You know, the CIA won't be happy until everything we believe is a lie. Yeah. Then their mission will be accomplished, and the American people have been ideologically subverted, and they're no longer a worry. So,
yeah, the bullet will lose velocity as it hits things for sure. I can tell you, Burpee Yoga Uncle, that I've worked with police officers who have been hit by one bullet, and it goes into and out of multiple body parts. They can bounce around. You know,
terrible. I got to tell you though, man, ever since the first time I watched that as like a teenager, you know, the replay of the Kennedy assassination, ever since the first time I watched it, I swear that Jackie smokes him as he leans over after the first shot got him in the neck. She smokes him right in the head as he leans over, and then she reaches back and hands something to somebody riding behind the car, the pen gun or whatever she used to assassinate the president. But that's just how it looks to me, clear as day. Just some kid from New York. I don't know. Go figure.
We'll probably never know the full truth on that.
Oh, hell no.
And who was responsible, if anybody else besides Oswald. And I do think there was other people involved.
Well, I think if the actual truth of it all came out, it would topple the U.S. government and most of its secret entities.
I think so. And he, Kennedy was loved by many people, but he was not loved.
Hated by a lot of people too. You know?
Also hated by a lot of people. And he was taking on the military industrial complex. He was taking on the mafia. There was a lot of stuff there that he had plenty of enemies.
Yeah.
Would have had good motives to make.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, this was the man who said he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the far corners of the earth so that it could never be put back together again, because he believed they were that dangerous. It's the man that said that there was a plan in place to enslave every man, woman, and child in the United States of America, and he intended on bringing it to light before he left this high and noble office. And this is what happens when you take on something that big and that powerful.
Let's end with this, unless you had something else. Do you worry, based on everything we were just talking about, do you worry for President Trump, who's coming back into office?
Absolutely.
Regardless of whether or not you like him, right?
Absolutely.
Let's leave that equation off of it. Because why? Why do you worry for him?
I worry for him because of the things he said about disclosures. I worry for RFK about the things that he will do with disclosures. These are people who are true to their word, as far as I can tell, and from everything I've ever seen from these two individuals. They will tear the curtain down, not just pull it back. And I do. I fear for their safety. I think... this is the first time in history that a U.S. government that lost an election created an entire shadow cabinet. So they have literally created a shadow government inside of the government already, as if they won the whole thing, and appointed their people. For what? I don't really know, but this isn't something that normally happens in the United States, and here in the United States, we consider that treason if you do something like that. But it's happening. It's happening, and it's a very dangerous time. Very dangerous time, especially as we roll in and up to Inauguration Day. There's only like 30-something days left, I think, till Inauguration Day, or 40-something days left. But this is the most dangerous time, not just in the United States, but globally. So don't take your foot off your prepper accelerator pedal just yet, folks.
Yeah. Well, and then you think about Elon Musk and Doge, right? And the goal of Doge is to increase government efficiency, which means some people are going to lose money. Okay.
Oh yeah, big time, big time.
And I think I read something about that, like they even specifically said, including the military-industrial complex, right? So.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't. You don't want to mess with our money, buddy. Because I tell you what,
they're used to that paycheck coming in.
Oh yeah,
keep it coming, baby.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, so I do worry about them. I worry about the how all that stuff could roll out, and also, if there is ever a president that in our lifetimes that would possibly give disclosure if there was something like aliens, okay?
Oh yeah.
We've never had a better chance at it than right now.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Make it happen. Make it happen, please.
And we probably won't get another chance at it in our lifetimes.
I know.
If there's anybody that could possibly, consider, what the American people deserve to know.
Oh, just open it all up, man. Make it all transparent, and you can start lying again after he leaves. Whatever. Some of us just want to know the actual truth. That's what we came here for, and we ain't getting it. So,
right. So stay tuned, folks. And as Mike said, make sure you are prepping, because all of this, nobody knows where this is going exactly. We have our theories.
No.
And if you're watching this, maybe you've got some theories too. But I hope that we're moving into better times, right?
Me too.
I feel like we're on the verge of the economy is about to do really well. It feels like that. I feel like there's a chance we could get our foot out of some of these wars that we have stepped into, but we don't know what else happens, right? Like, so there's all these rumors in the military community of the next front is not necessarily even going to be China or Iran or North Korea. It's going to be in one of the African countries. I've heard Bangladesh, Sudan, those names get tossed around. And why? Because from what I understand, Al Qaeda has basically resurfaced. Okay.
Yep.
Guess where?
Africa.
Afghanistan.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Shocking, right?
Yeah. All kinds of cool stuff we left there for them.
Yeah, all kinds of cool toys. And supposedly they have a plan for the next 10 years of where they want to expand to. And part of those plans involve multiple African countries, right? So that's where this is potentially going. There's always risks with, I really pray we never get into a war with China.
Same. Any near peer adversary right now would be we're stretched so thin, Sarge, so thin.
We've
got pieces all over the chessboard.
It's not good, and it's not good for China either. And I've had students that I've worked with from China. They're good people. They don't want war either. They're just trying to live their lives too. I have a business that I work with that I communicate with from China, and they seem like good people that they want to have good relations with the United States. But just like we can't control our government, they can't control their government, right? So if the players involved here at the top of the food chain decide to throw fists, it's not going to be their fists that get thrown. It's going to be our fists that get thrown,
Unfortunately. Yeah.
So I pray that doesn't happen. I pray we don't get, I pray that Russia can de-escalate, that I think there's going to have to be some kind of compromise there, that they're going to need to have a port, right? Their financial future depends on them having Crimea, and they've held it. They've held Crimea. This war isn't the last 3-4 years, guys. This has been going on. It was just in a little bit of a pause, but they've held Crimea since 2014 or so.
Yep. As soon as Zelensky kind of took power, they made a grab for that, and then
and most of the people in that area, from what I understand, are more closely
aligned with Russia. There was straight up genocide happening in Ukraine of Russian speaking people. So for people to think Russia went in there unprovoked, one, you haven't done obviously any research whatsoever into the topic beyond what the mainstream headlines have told you. Dig a little deeper. I would implore you to dig a little deeper and find some older information. Yeah.
So I hope that can be resolved soon. As President Trump or incoming President Trump said, I want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
And
that'd be great.
But I don't see any way that happens without them getting to keep Crimea.
No. I think the lines that are maybe the lines that will be
maybe.
So that's why I say the next couple months are the most dangerous time, because let's face it, kids, Dad's coming home and he's going to take his belt off, right? And if people don't start acting right, some ass is getting whooped.
Right. Yeah. So you're going to see Ukraine is going to make their biggest push here in the last few weeks, and Russia probably too.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens, I hope it's not too bad, but maybe
Same
everybody
here.
Can sit down and have a conversation about how do we stop this.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to finish.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarge.
A couple little things here. Let's check our poll here. Let's see.
Oh yeah, how do we do?
It looks like, not that many of you voted in it. Let me refresh here. Maybe I just need a refresh on it. Oh, it's not letting me back in. Let me look on this one. Yeah, okay. So 75% of you believe the United States should shoot this drone. The United States government, not civilians, folks. Okay? Let's be clear. I'm not advocating for any of you to go out there and be vigilantes. Please don't.
That's right. No, don't do that. You're going to get in trouble. Don't do it.
Yeah, and as Mike said, there could be a person in there. You don't know.
Yeah, they said today that these are manned vehicles, right? Yeah. They said everything up there is piloted, so
yeah. So
could be they could be honest.
So if anybody's going to take those things down, let's let the government do it, folks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
And hopefully we get some answers to this soon. Hey, Gil, our Campsite Cruising, thank you so much for joining us. A couple other things. So I wanted to say again, if you haven't already, check out Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. He jumped in here last minute. I hit him up today and said, I know this is a last minute thing, but do you want to join me? So I really appreciate you for doing that. And
not a problem, Sarge. Happy to be here, bro.
Yeah, and you guys need to check out his channel, especially the live streams. We all gonna die Wednesdays. It's awesome. You're gonna have some.
Those are fun. Those are fun. The Four Horsemen podcasts have been a lot of fun too.
Another good one too.
Yep. Yeah, those been a lot of fun. We rotate those from channel to channel between myself, Vision Preparedness, the Roaming Prepper, and the Livingston Man. So I think this coming week we're on my channel this time around.
Yep, those are awesome, and 4 awesome people too. Love all 4 of you guys. They're good stuff. Knowledgeable.
Appreciate
people.
it, Sarge. Appreciate it.
All right, closing with the something positive here, folks. All right, I know it's frustrating. I get that it's frustrating when you're kept in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I know that if this was my neighborhood, I would be pissed off too. I get it. I do believe you deserve answers. I do believe that whatever's going on here, if it was testing for whatever, you've had your chance. You've had 3 weeks worth of testing. And whoever is doing this, if you don't come clean with it and do some kind of press conference or whatever, there's probably a high chance that citizens are going to start taking this into their own hands, and then we could have a tragedy. And folks, okay. So let's end this little drone game that you got going on. And for those of you in my audience, remember we preach peace here, folks. Okay, so don't go out there and be a vigilante and mount that drone on the trunk of your car, or put it on your wall like it's a hunting trophy or anything like that. We're not going to do that. Okay, just let's be a little bit more patient. Give this a little bit more time. I do think we're going to get some answers at some point here. Or the other option is it's just going to go away and we're going to pretend and they won't talk about it anymore. We'll move on to something else. But either way, if you can be patient out there, folks, I do think this is going to come to an end at some point here, probably soon. All right, Mike, anything from you before I close us out?
No, sir. Just stay safe, everybody. Keep prepping, keep doing the things. Make sure you got some cash on hand. You never know when the power goes out, those ATM machines don't work, and the only way you're getting anything if you need it is with cash. So keep a little bit of cash on hand. I'm not talking, buku bucks here. You don't have to keep thousands under the mattress, but keep $100, a couple 20s around just in case you need to grab some last minute things when the SH does hit the TF. So just have some cash. That's all.
Amen to that. Keep planting your seeds, folks. Keep stacking your silver. This is Mike and Sarge. Have a great weekend.
Stay safe, guys.